Let me show these suckers how to ball out here. Oh, man, let's get this together here. Oh, layup. Oh, shot. Oh, three. Oh, it's like Brick City out here. Mid-range. Oh, my goodness. I can't buy a bucket out here. I missed the whole damn basket. Oh, my goodness. What's going on, man? My game is looking trash. Oh, here we go. Black Power Media shirt. Now we cooking. Trees. I'm taking on three of y'all with these right here. Between the legs. Oh, my goodness. Behind the back. Layup. Oh, and did he just do a reverse? He is in beast mode out here. I ain't got to look. It's falling. Oh, my goodness. This guy is going 3, 2, 1. Kobe. Nice. Black Power Media, baby. Nice. Empower yourself. Go get you some of that Black Power Media again. Right here, blackpowermedia.org. Yeah.
You got to earn your liberation.
All right, what's up, world? Welcome back to another edition of Earn Your Liberation, the True GOAT episode, Lawrence Taylor episode, 56.
Lawrence Nose Candy Taylor.
Lawrence Cocaine Taylor.
That's my
Lawrence.
actually, that's my team though. The Giants used to be my team, so that was my guy.
What's up, Diallo? I used to hate the Giants as
What?
a fan of the Washington football team, a loyal fan of all DC area sports.
We used to
and-
crush y'all every time. I remember.
Not every time. That's factually incorrect.
I mean,
'Cause
most of the
you got to
time.
remember. So you're a youngin. I was spoiled. I grew up late 70s, 80s, early 90s when my squad was in the mix all the time. Won as many
Because
Super Bowls as anybody.
Because you're a black quarterback.
One of them was with a black quarterback. But there were several others. But I was watching live when a white quarterback. I was watching live, sneaking, staying up past my bedtime on a Monday night with a black and white TV no bigger than one of these boxes on our screen right here, with the rabbit ears, the tin foil, and the pliers to change the channel. That's I just want everybody to get the underneath the covers, trying to hide the light. Watching it on low as I could as Lawrence Taylor broke Joe Theismann's leg live on national TV, and yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal, but that's how I used to be a loyal fan. I used to be at RFK Stadium on a regular basis. But Lawrence Taylor, as much as I hated the squad, I had to appreciate him.
Yeah, Lawrence Taylor was a monster. But I remember the later time.
Why is Diallo shaking his head already?
Yeah, he's a hater. He was when you said you broke your leg got broke, he was already shaking his head. But I'm just saying we reminiscing, man. It's okay to reminisce.
I'm okay.
You reminisce of the old ass whack Coolio and Too Short or whatever rappers.
We're just honoring our greatest black leaders.
Anyway, like I was
football
saying,
players.
when we had Thunder and Lightning, you remember that when we had Tiki Barber and Rondé?
Yeah,
that's when we was real serious. Like we had one that, well, actually now I got it. There's little pause moments, but one go long and the other one run hard. But anyway, yeah, let's go to the next topic. But yeah, I remember my
let's
pause
that right there and move on to something just real quick before we do move any further. We did get an announcement from sort of Team Mumia, specifically calling for people to be aware of the fact that Mumia is not only, of course, still locked up, but he is not doing great medically. There's some issues with his skin. There's some other, and the short of it is he needs contact, meaning we need people to go visit. We need people to write. I'm just a mess of guilt when it comes to the visitation part. But there's been a specific call being put out. We're looking to stay tuned. We'll look to maybe be bringing others to the platform again soon come to talk more about it. So I'm just sharing this from Prison Radio so folks can see again Mumia and his address if you want to start writing, and then if you are able to start the process to visit him. And one of the points that was made on one of the video calls I watched a little bit of, at least, was that Noel Hanrahan was pointing out that in addition to not a lot of people going to visit him, that we aren't seeing recent accurate pictures of him, and that he is looking worse than people realize in terms of his skin, and of course him not being properly treated for all that is going on. I'm not entirely sure medically what it is. There's just a lot of issues, but the specific request immediately was, again, just to put the word out and then encourage people to visit him, be in contact with him, and we will look to invite members of the Mumia Support Committee back to the platform as soon as they're available. We can work it out to get another update. So please support Prison Radio, support Mumia, and we'll again have to continue to encourage people to continue their support for Daruba. We'll put his contact in the ticker in a few seconds, but just again, a heads up. Mumia continues to need our help, and there's been a new call for concern being put out. So again, stay tuned, and thank you all very much in advance. All right, fellas, where would you like to get us started this morning? How you all doing? What's the latest?
Doing well. I actually got a running conversation that I want y'all opinions on, y'all thoughts, and then the chats. But I need y'all to pick between the better platform, Instagram or Facebook. Which one you think you would use better or easier to use?
At this point, I don't use Facebook very much at all.
So
and all the youngins tell me we got to be on Instagram. Facebook is for the old heads.
All right, well,
that's what the youngins tell me. So
let's start with IG. So play this clip on IG. You can see some of the chats, but I would love to hear y'all perspective on this. Is in the chat. This argument about the necessity of learning chess and why all Africans should learn chess, or is chess something that whatever, but just listen to this brother.
Oh, we're going back to before the firings, the Math Hoffa firings. This is an old clip.
Oh, yeah.
Because these two brothers right here, they got their own, they left. They got their own setup.
The one with the light blue shirt.
This is Guru from Jay-Z, right?
Yeah.
Working with Jay-Z.
The one with the light blue shirt, he's wild, because when his response was like, bro, just stop talking. But anyway.
Well, these two now left the platform. They got their own show called Bag Fuel. And but they the ones that had the big split with Math, talking about he didn't want to pay people and all this other kind of stuff. So, but okay, here we go.
What does this book mean to you? Does this
so don't depend on his ability to argue that point, because he probably didn't do the best. But what do y'all think in terms of, again, I've heard people be like, the reason why African people are the position they in because we don't play chess, we playing checkers, and all African kids should learn how to play chess and blah 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 blah. What are y'all takes on this idea of chess being vital to skills that African people need?
Well, the chess metaphor, which I think is beat to death, has most recently, from my observation, mostly been used to just justify people who want to rally behind some Uncle Tom and justify their treasonous actions by saying they're playing chess, not checkers. That's all. People throw that up for Kanye. People throw that up for any type of popular Negro that's doing something questionable or inexcusable.
It's 4D chess.
Yes, and because I mean, it's just this kind of triggered me because them New York chess cats are too much. They're too much. They calm down because the way New York cats come at chess, I can't, like dominoes too. Before I moved to New York, before I went to college, I used to enjoy chess and I used to enjoy dominoes. But the West Indian in dominoes and New York City cats, especially like them Brooklyn cats and them Queens cats, they just ruin that shit. They just take shit way too serious. But I think that the guy makes some good points. It's not just, even strategy, regardless of the category of the game or categorization of the game, it is just a game, and it is a metaphor for life when it is, and it ain't when it ain't. You know, and it's funny that they're using a game and then they reference fiction. Like, we trying to be real here.
That's what I was gonna say. They start talking about The Wire.
Right, they jump from, you know, this is not a metaphor for life, because if you look at real life in The Wire, you see how shit really real. So I mean, the dude kind of contradicted himself when he's arguing about something that's not an appropriate metaphor for life, and he uses an example in fiction to justify it. So you go from games to fiction, I mean, and never touch down in the real world. But man, this triggered me because, like I said, you New York City cats just need to calm down. Shit, too much.
So, I largely agree. I think, I thought he made some interesting points. I do think a lot of people do too much when they talk about chess and relate it to the real world and suggest that if you play chess, you are, and I've done this. I mean, I've said one of the basic criteria for an acceptable partner for my children is that he must play chess. But now I've elevated it because I think Go is a much more advanced game, and I think if we really wanted to look at, and even to some of the points that he's making, I think Go, in terms of trying to find a game that more matches or solves the problems Guru was presenting, I think Go does more for that, because it seeing someone place a piece does not necessarily reveal exactly what's being developed. And if you don't have a different eye for patterns and whatever, it's a very different game and much more complicated. So but I think in general, I think people do too much when they say a game is like life, and if you got to stop being a pawn and be a king, or whatever. I mean, and I actually like the point he made. A pawn could go anywhere. A pawn might, but so in the sense of trying to get people to think beyond just a game. Or to think that they've done something special by learning chess, I think is a good idea. It's a good point, but
I mean, what about spades? Learning how
we didn't bid our hand this week.
We're not bidding our hand. But
no, I don't think spades translates into anything in particular. I've had a lot of good spades games and with some good spades partners who are horrible people and wildly ignorant to the rest of the world. So I don't think one is a guarantee of another. So shoot, when I played spades for the most part in the military, I was nothing as a human being to write home about. I mean, I wasn't, I'm not trying to suggest I was any better. So I was great at spades and not great at being a human yet. So,
well,
obviously, I've attained that. I've reached that goal, obviously, by now, clearly. But I'm just saying at that point.
Well, one of our arch rivals, they believe that they're playing chess and not checkers. So maybe
did you all watch the thing with Roland Martin? Erica, where is Ricky in the chat?
I don't know, but I didn't. I meant to go back and watch, but I didn't. But if you got some clips,
I watched. I watched and. I'll say this. Let me say. Well, we can come back. I'll let you go in order. But
it'll merge in. And we can. If you got a clip, I did listen to the first 2 seconds of it, but I was like,
I don't have clips per se. The thing is broken up in segments. I don't know if so it's easy to roll through the video. But I watched it in double speed, and I will say that. First of all, this is what I'll say. I'll say I would rather see a debate with Roland Martin and someone with my or our collective politics than I would have seen with Greg Carr. I think in this area, Roland's argument is much more polished. He's got the script. He's got the cadence. He's got the speed of delivery. Admittedly, I was watching it at advanced speed, but his argument for why we should end up supporting the Democrats is a strong argument. I don't agree with it, but I think he's got a strong argument. And I think that those who want to support that argument should listen to him, and those of us who want to challenge it should listen to him, and from my point of view at least, develop some tactical responses to what he's saying. So in that regard, I thought it was impressive. The ultimate goal, of course, is his argument is couched, unfortunately, largely in this video, in this interview with Earn Your Leisure, is couched in Black people need to be more involved and active electorally so that we can demand more from those who are going to end up getting elected anyway. And then ultimately we and he in the Black media commercial spaces can attract more corporate ad revenue. That was a big part of the push. And the only little pushback that existed between the two of them was slightly around the Earn Your Leisure cats trying to maintain the line that we need to get our money right before our politics, and Roland trying to say there needs to be more of a balance because, of course, he's saying we need to be politically viable to demand more money from those who are going to get elected. It's not a nuanced after party, or even what I would call what I've heard from Diallo in a more critical analysis of when and how to engage the vote. It's nothing. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it elevated to that level, right. But in terms of the federal judges and the ad revenue for sure was a big part of it. And HBCU, I just found my notes. More money for HBCUs, more money for Black businesses because of Biden and the Democrats. More judges that will support class action and civil rights efforts for Black people. It was Obama that got people, and I just quickly wrote this down. I don't know the details. Apparently, Obama got somebody or a couple people released from Angola prison. And then ultimately, it's the same thing that we heard on Saturdays with Renee when she played for us the Raz Baraka interview he did recently on WBAI in New York, where Roland was ultimately saying the Dems have been doing great for us. They just have a messaging problem. Right. So those were the core takeaways that I got from this. But if you don't have a particular framed or prepared response for the rapid fire, what about the HBCUs? What about the healthcare? That was another thing. He expanded, Obamacare, and now when I did a quick look up into that, it does say that since 2020, more people are insured. Obviously, some of that has to do with some of the give backs because of COVID, and some people seeking out more insurance because of COVID, but it also said that more than half of the people who are insured, or I should say at least 2 times the amount the people who are insured through private entities than through public insurance, meaning that, again, the Obamacare was a big boom for corporate insurance and locking us into forever being away from universal free healthcare. But again, if you don't have that stuff ready, if you're not up on how much did HBCUs get, and then have even a critical response regarding, well, what happens when HBCUs get more money? Like, how does that translate? But if you don't have that stuff ready, his approach is strong. And for an Earn Your Leisure community, it was a strong performance. And then, of course, he's wearing the T-shirt that says, "Where's our money?" So
I mean, I think it becomes serendipity when EYL is at Carnegie, right? And Carnegie and Ford and Rockefeller are some of the main oligarchs who transition us away from political science and behavioral science to where we'll open the lane for the idea of financial literacy. So if you pull up that link, I don't know if they went last year, but
can I my bad, since I cut you off and interrupted the whole thing, can I just go ahead and finish that by playing a little clip just so we can get an idea? I'll just play one section of this so people can at least, and then if we have time, maybe we can come back to more. But this is him. This is just Roland talking about. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Why is it? Oh, because I'm in the wrong. My bad. Hold on. This is Roland talking about how to communicate with the corporate world for ad revenue. And he's sort of trying to school these folks on the business of media.
Eastern. We have go to the Black Start Network app. our YouTube channel, our Fast channel. We on Amazon
no, that's
Fire,
not where it
Amazon
was. Hold
Freevee,
on.
Amazon Prime Video, also Plex TV.
Here we go.
You have 18%, 20%, 35% black market share. I tell you what I told General Motors. I was on the phone call with the CMO, Deborah Wall, her team. I said, let me tell y'all something. I don't praise people for press releases. I will praise you for direct deposits. Doc, y'all, I'm
indeed. True indeed.
We on the phone. I said, I don't praise for press releases. I said, let me tell you something right now. I said, I ain't got to launch a massive boycott of y'all. If I knock off 1% of your black market share, all y'all getting fired. I said, so
Look at that.
let me
power.
know when we gonna
Leverage.
do business.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all straight up. I'm just being straight up. And that's the problem, is that we as African Americans, had a brother told me with a black media company, well, Roland, man, we not all like you. We might not get no advertising. I said, brother, let me ask you a question. Did you get any last year? He said, no. I said, you get any last quarter? No. You got any last month? No. Last week? No. Yesterday? No. I said, so how in the hell you think you're going to get some next month if they ain't never? I said, oh, they have given you the illusion. They giving you a meeting. We told our ad agency, we said, everybody in this meeting get paid to be here except us. All y'all been paid to be in this meeting. We're not. We're free. Bruh, I know what they doing to y'all. And that's when you sit here, that's when you turn around and you sit here and go, okay, really? We're going to go tell our followers. We're going to go tell them that your financial company won't do business. And we're going to tell our people not to do business with you. That's why the companies that have done business with me, I publicly praise them. And the ones who did business with me one time and didn't come back, they on the call out list. See, listen.
So it's actually more difficult in real time. I didn't realize. I mean, it's much easier. I should play it in double time here. But the short of it is, this was the sort of the crux of the discussion. That, and then when electoral politics, and to be fair, I'm only playing a very short clip, but to be fair, again, he made a very good defense of his electoral position. I do not agree with it, but he made a good argument about it. But this was the ultimate conclusion, that at the end of the day, as he made it, by the way, the worst, most egregious thing, I'm sorry I took this long to remember this because I did not write it down, but he makes passing reference to Stokely Carmichael, calling him Stokely Carmichael, and said that this is why we have to be in organizations. We have to be organized. So he took that accurate piece from Teray. But what he was saying...
what I was about to say, like, if you are carried away with how he speak, it sounds like he's saying organize for political power and get away from this do-it-yourself bootstrap shit. Like, it almost sounds like that's kind of how he's handling
it. Is, but he has no. It is. He is saying organize yourselves for political power. But as I'm trying to quickly summarize here, maybe not being fair enough to him, but I think accurate enough, is that the extent of political organization for him is to extract more from the federal government for black businesses, for HBCUs, for black commercial media. It's not for political power to, for instance, redistribute wealth and develop a Pan-African socialist revolutionary movement. So to make reference to Teray, calling him again Stokely, and then to make this claim, because again, this is my problem. They're presenting themselves as the logical conclusion and extension of Teray, of King. So when they bring up civil rights, they make the point again to bring up that it's after Operation Breadbasket that black businesses started getting all this money, because as Jesse was as we've been criticizing for decades, was leveraging the civil rights struggle to get concessions from the corporate world for black businesses and black contractors. So for Roland, that's the goal. So and again, there was only this slight little tension when the brothers would try to say, well, we got to get our money right. We got to get, before we get our politics. And Roland is trying to say, no, we got to have it hand in hand. That's why he was saying it's the White House and the Treasury are the two dominant institutions, and they work hand in hand. And if you don't understand that and don't know how to intervene to get your rightful due,
Right.
you end up getting played. So it's, and he did say, I'll stop here, but he did say also that he has about, I think he said $300,000 or $200,000 a month that Roland has in payroll. I think it's like $195,000, I think he said, or something like that, that he's got to come up with every month for payroll. So he's got to have these relationships with these corporate entities.
It's better.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, as Diallo is a political science guy, and then I mean, you can pull up the next link. But again, as I was saying, them playing at Carnegie, as they would think, with Rick Ross and Robert Smith and the war criminal Wes Moore. So again, it's serendipitous that this financial empowerment visionaries or experts or guru are playing at a person, an oligarch who again is responsible for shifting us from political science to behavioral science. So yeah, I wonder what you think about this type of event, and then I guess them being at Carnegie, Diallo being a political science person.
I think being at the venue doesn't. I mean, it's good for in terms of bragging rights and that, but in terms of most people, the Carnegie Institute or don't really. It's prestige, but it's just a venue. It's just them. Just like when they went to Harlem or when they went to the Apollo, these venues, it's more of a celebrity more so than an ideology thing. It's kind of like, it's not really like they're at the Council of Foreign Relations or some of these real think tanks or real institutions making decisions within those institutions. They're on a stage performing. And so, I mean, I don't put much weight. They're at the Carnegie Institute and they're going to push that name and stuff, but they're going to have Rick Ross up there. Do he still?
I think it's perfect.
Out?
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I would respect. Yeah, get up in there and just tear it all down.
I mean, Rick Ross has a new lady, and he lost a lot of weight. So Rick Ross has a new lady in his life, and he lost a lot of weight. He's looking like he's slimming up. And
how'd he do it? What did he do? Keto?
No, I mean she helped him out. She helped him out, but
I'm curious, what'd she do?
I mean, you don't have to ask her and him. They on Instagram.
When a dude get in a relationship, then we start gaining weight when we get a lady. I'm saying these women bring us down.
So
anyway, they sure do to slow us down. Stay blaming my wife for that.
He has like George Washington. Who he got tatted across his cleavage?
What?
Huh?
George Washington, who Rick Ross?
Yes.
Oh man, you got to find that. I don't know about that.
Speaking of finding links, Geechee, please find that link you sent where the youngins were asking about who Killer Mike was.
Washington on his cleavage.
Who Killer Mike was? That wasn't me.
I'm sure you sent me the link. You sent us the link of people asking about who Killer Mike is after the Grammys.
No, that wasn't me.
No, that wasn't. That's that.
Did Diallo send that? I thought it was in our chat. Oh
no, it's not.
Then I gotta find it.
I didn't see that. That's.
Oh, I thought it was. I was sure you sent it to me. Somebody else sent it to me. It was funny
actually,
because I wanted to hate on Mike and make jokes and using the Grammys in my class this week, and they didn't know who he was.
Oh, damn.
I was a little upset. And then somebody sent me that clip, and I was like, "Oh, this must be why." But anyway, I don't know about Rick Ross's cleavage, and I don't know.
He's got Abraham Lincoln and George Washington on his.
No, that's a lie. Diallo be lying. He be lying on Friday mornings just for fun.
People's sacred spaces,
I don't believe that. I don't believe that for 1 second.
Each other at the Grammys, and
Diallo pay attention to details. I've never seen that man chest
sacred spaces
in that way.
Go excavate white folks' graves. Let's go dig up some old white folks.
I actually think it is appropriate that they be performing at Carnegie. I mean, because Carnegie, a lot of what Carnegie was doing with his money was philanthropic for the sake of rebranding him and his work and how he got his riches and trying to be all about peace. And we were in The Hague and saw the Carnegie Peace Center or whatever, all that other kind of nonsense where you funding every bit of exploitative process on the planet. So I think it's perfect that they be there presenting themselves as the solution to Black suffering during Black History Month in a hall named after someone who left a bunch of money to rebrand the world under his illusions.
But the question is how, and their how is they're gonna teach us how to leverage content, leverage influence, technology, and public policy to drive real economic change and a close to the economic divide. So, are they doing the work?
By closing the economic divide, they mean getting themselves a bunch of money
and getting Westmore elected to be the next president. Obama 2.0. Yeah,
he's gonna need a funding base. So there's one billionaire right there.
Robert Smith. I mean, I think his funding base is pretty tight now to get his ass in that governor spot, don't you think? In Maryland?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
mean, but since you mentioned,
I was looking at the Carnegie Hall event site, and I don't see the EYL thing on there. Did I miss it?
Wait, they did. I mean, they got their own flyer.
False advertising.
Huh?
They got their own flyer, and Robert Smith going.
I see that, but the Carnegie has events all year round, and I don't see the EYL thing. They couldn't even put them on the website.
Maybe they on a maybe a small
back door.
Man, let me look at this thing
but wait a minute.
Right.
The
events.
I can't find this video. I can't find that video. But I could have sworn you sent it to me. Who sent me that video?
Oh, you talking about that? Wait, what day? What day was that supposed to be?
I don't know, man.
Go back
to
that.
There's so much stuff flying around.
You pulled it up on that link.
Pulled up what?
The date for I'll look at it. The date they're supposed to be there. At Carnegie.
You sent the link.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to look. I'm looking at it now. I thought you still had it up. Wait, it actually doesn't show the date. Damn. Diallo, maybe you're right.
Y'all money, y'all giving these dudes money. They going to pay to rent out Carnegie Hall.
Oh wow, that might be it because I really don't see. I don't even see their date on it. And
you see how they do, and they paid their money too, and they couldn't put them up there with them white folks doing opera and orchestra.
Listen, I mean, Breakfast Club do that all the time. They'll let you pay for an interview and make it seem like you actually get an interview, but you're paying for it. So
yeah, hey, I guess if you got an ass, you can't afford it because I'm looking up the venue fees and they were just telling me, oh, you can get our performance hall and our event spaces, but ain't no prices.
You can't afford it. That's exactly right.
If you got an ass, you can't afford it. But I'm just saying it's peculiar to me. Y'all giving money to these people and they renting out Carnegie Hall to do shit.
Well, maybe Carnegie got other buildings. And maybe it's another building.
Carnegie Hall is just, I mean, it's a magnificent. I mean, as a guy, as one who can appreciate architecture, and especially in New York, a lot of those old, 20th century and 19th century architecture, because all that glass and steel everywhere, it's good to see. There's some good stone good stone work, some good intricate.
It says February the 13th.
So it is a beautiful building.
But Stern Auditorium, February 13th, Stern Auditorium.
Did they put it on the Carnegie site?
I mean, it's on the website, but it's not on the events, because even when you see this, link,
I mean, them brothers paid their money now. I as much as I oppose their ideology and their objectives, I mean, they still brothers. You put the money up, you put me on the page.
Well, now when you click events, it doesn't come up, but maybe it's somewhere hidden somewhere else. But that page that I sent just now. Oh, there you go. It's there.
I hate how these cats.
It's there.
They're not gonna let Rick Ross rap.
Stop it.
Carnegie Hall presents Power Network.
Diallo got
Black
this
History Month conversation and celebration.
Fake news.
No, where did you find that on the page?
When you click events and you go down to February 13th, it's right there. You see Westmore looking like Jay-Z, Rick Ross, and Richard and them.
February. Black History. I guess this is Black History Month. Hey, it's February.
Don't do them like that, man.
There it is. Oh,
you about to get us in trouble.
Shit. Y'all charging?
Oh, they're gonna have to get some of that money back though, bro.
Earn your exploitation. $50? $50? You gonna let me see $50? Ooh, no.
See, but this looks like, again. So I was watching Earl Afari Hutchinson on Sundiata's show last night, and they were talking about some of the biggest Black-owned businesses in the country, and the one I looked up looked a lot like this. So this sister's on here as saying that she runs the Digital Progress Institute, but it's the same thing I saw when I was looking at the other thing. When you scroll down to the who we are's, after the initial black symbolic face, it's. I mean, this is the woman that's going to be on the panel.
Yeah.
For Black History Month, talking about Black empowerment and Black business. And she's not even the first one listed on this thing that she's said to be the head of. And she's the only Black one there. So again, I think this is it's what I'm saying is perfect for Carnegie Hall. It's putting, it's instead of sports washing, it's race washing or Black washing white capital. And I mean, the one last night, DWW or something, a technology company that's supposed to be the biggest Black-owned company. The brother who's named as the founder and chairman is the only Black face on the thing. Everything else from the CEO on down is white. So I just, that to me is the perfect, again, metaphor for what all this Black capitalism talk is. It's Black washing, race washing, capitalism. Yeah, go ahead.
It's not even Black capitalism. It's always been just capitalism, because they're playing the same role as the bottom feeders, as petty bourgeoisie or whatever you want to call them, because this isn't even, they haven't even really elevated to like Black capitalism, because they're not, as in the ideology and practices of capitalism, they haven't even really elevated. They're what do you call? They have patrons. When you have white patrons, you're not, so it's not even Black capitalism. Even though I oppose Black capitalism, I could have a level of at least acknowledgement if it exists or if it truly emerged. But this ain't even Black capitalism. This is just capitalism or white. This is just what it always was.
I mean, Killer Mike don't call himself a Black capitalist. He calls himself a capitalist. And
he's not a capitalist or a Black capitalist, but he does have
he calls himself
role to play within the capitalist infrastructure, within capitalist policy.
Yeah, we're in the world of self-titled. Jerry,
you and Andrew Dice Clay perform. I mean, the Carnegie Hall fell off.
So I just another one. This other sister who's on here being listed as Megan Holston Alexander, leader of the Cultural Leadership Fund at Andreessen Horowitz. So obviously we don't even need to look it up, but this is Andreessen Horowitz.
Oh yeah.
Like she's not even on this. She's not even listed here. Maybe at the bottom. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, this is what's going on at Black History Month at Carnegie Hall, celebrating Black economic empowerment and Black history.
Get your black.
Andrew, 2 days later, in that same venue, they're going to have Andrew Dice Clay performing February 15th. Like I said,
Mr. Carnegie, though, what you
fell off. At least
proximity to whiteness is the goal that you need. You need to get proximity to whiteness so you could move around the room with vultures, like Jay-Z say, and then the Black people are gonna respect you more. But let's transition to the reason why Diallo need to watch his mouth and not say Cuddly Mike, because if he come to Atlanta and get pushed down or get swung on, I don't know if we could, back you up, brother. But let's get Killer Mike.
Was there a particular link? What I think is fascinating about the story, the update that I had is that the security guard he got into a physical exchange with was a woman. I don't know if that.
Yeah.
And but my real question is, because I did not look for this, but did he win a Grammy specifically for the song "Talking Shit" where he was allegedly talking about us. I would like to say that our subject
It was the whole
matter
album.
got him a Grammy. So it was just the whole. It was the whole album.
I think it was the whole
He
album.
did one for performance too, but it wasn't that song.
But
Okay.
well, so while we talking, let's kind of shout the brother out also. But his son, just got a successful kidney transplant. So
Okay, good.
that's healing and respect to
Okay,
that.
no, absolutely, respect to that. No question. Glad
but-
to hear it went well.
But in the situation, Mike said that there was some confusion with what door they needed to go in, and it's still unclear
Right.
if they was re-interning or it was going for the first time. And he said there was this security officer who trying too hard to play police officer.
Overzealous, yeah.
Overzealous, yeah, right. And after he kind of brushed her aside, I there was supposed to be a video, but I didn't really see the video of him pushing her fall. I saw the video.
I saw it.
You saw the video of him pushing her?
I saw the video of the altercation, they were calling it.
Yeah, I saw the altercation, but in that altercation, I
And
didn't
it was
see
smart to
anybody
call
get
it
pushed.
that because it wasn't nothing but a kerfuffle. You know, it was nothing to see. It's not world star worthy. You know, it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing, a whole bunch of nothing.
But what's interesting though, also it was a citizen's arrest supposedly, right? And then I guess the cops came in
You ain't
afterwards.
taking Killer in as a citizen. You better come with
that's what they said. Like, but you gotta.
what?
He's
You know
a son of
where
a police
Cuddy fucked
officer.
up?
He's a
You
son
know
of a
where
police
Cuddy
officer, so he
fucked up?
respect the law. What happened?
He didn't check the budget. What is the Grammy budget?
It's a $200-300 million budget.
Yeah, when you look at the Grammy budget, you realize you don't go up in there acting out.
The video's calling her a female, so it's suspicious already. But it's saying that he pushed her twice and threw an elbow.
Oh damn! So she never hit the ground or anything like that.
She was treated for some injuries.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
Oh, then man, I would say, listen, if you look at the budget of the Grammys, how much money they didn't put up, you can't be in there resistant and acting out because of the budget. Remember, Cully Mike, you know, it all depends on the budget.
He issued a statement absolving the police. Oh my God. Thank you.
Well, I didn't see the absolving the police, but I did see that he said once him and his team the truth come out, he's clear and confident that everything will be passed and he wouldn't be seen for any wrongdoing.
Truth come out. Yes, a Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
But again, he's in good spirits, so he says keep listening to Michael, his album, and keep going after your dreams. So I know you
go get you $100 broom to sweep.
I saw that. He
Grammy. What?
I mean, he sold out. He sold out. So I don't think you can get the broom.
Grift, which hurts my heart. It makes my chest ache. I go from being, you know, just flabbergasted to just sadness because I mean the fact that folks went and bought that goddamn $12 Home Depot push broom. I mean, listen, push broom. If you're not a janitor in the 70s, who even used that broom?
I still use
broom. Technology has come so far.
I still use brooms, but
I didn't say broom. I said that particular broom. You don't
all of them. I use that push broom. I used to use it as a working man once upon a time.
You put on a jumpsuit. Thank goodness you got some good schooling, Jared.
I mean, what's wrong with
I had to go to boot camp first. I had to go to boot camp. There's nothing wrong with being a janitor. They just sent me to boot camp first. I was like, why do I got to go to boot camp for janitorial services? I could have learned this differently because I was literally pushing a broom and painting.
It's on you, you know.
So I was kicking it with my cousin. I was kicking it with my cousin, and he said that when the Mike album came out, he was stuck for quite some time, and he was listening to it. So, did y'all listen to it? And again, I know he probably took some shots, but did you listen to any of the songs?
I did.
You think it was a dope album? Was it a dope album?
They don't come out with records no more. I just get music in bits and pieces. Like I'm from the old. You get the album, you play it, you flip it. I'm from the era where you bought a single and the B-side in anticipation of the album, and then you run out and get the album. So I only get songs. I don't even know where I could get.
I listened to it. I listened to the whole thing at least once, and I thought, I mean, I might be biased at this point, but it's not. It wasn't for me. It wasn't this remarkable because I saw Mark Lamont Hill and other people talking about how it was revelatory and generational, and I was like, nah, I wasn't that. And I still think my response verse is better than his shit talking verse. But other than that, I was shocked. No hate, no joke. All jokes aside, I was shocked to the extent that my students and apparently other young people do not know who he is. That was a little bit of a surprise to me. That he seems not to be. So he's not in people's. And in some of the montage, in that one montage, and in the class, in the one class of 30 or so students where this came up, well, 2 classes, I'm sorry, where this came up, there was this sort of we don't understand what the issue is. Like, who is this guy?
Who is this? Yeah. Can I say something to that, black people? I'm gonna play the Caucasus Mountain cave dwelling devil's advocate, because I remember early in hip hop, they were given hip hop, or when they first opened the rap category, it was all LL Cool J and
Fresh Prince at first.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And everybody was like, they just giving to these pop artists. These MC Hammer won a hip hop Grammy. People were mad when the mainstream rappers were getting Grammys. People were upset. And now obscure rappers are getting Grammys, underground rappers, independent rappers are getting Grammys. Now y'all mad about that? Like, who is this guy? So, I mean, bless these white folks' heart. They going out finding these tokens. They gave y'all a spoken word category. They keep trying to figure out ways to appeal to younger folks. They keep trying to figure out ways to appeal to other demographics who aren't normally represented. They trying to get DEI on. Mm-hmm. But y'all, it seems like y'all, it just ain't never satisfied, because for over a decade, I had to hear about how that's not real hip hop, and the real hip hop and the real they just given to commercial rappers or commercially viable rappers. And
I'm with Diallo on this. Shame
rappers
on hip hop.
who don't normally appear on the red carpet.
I thought
y'all still mad. So what y'all want? What do y'all want from the white folks? Go ahead, write out
persistently
request, and I'll carry it up
unhappy
to the white folks, because y'all mad at both.
Diallo's white man messaging service is now open. So
I gotta say, and far be it to me to get on the side with white folks against black folks, but this is something that's mighty peculiar to me. The fact that he is unknown, shouldn't that be a credit? Shouldn't that be like, wow, he's not?
Well, I thought this album was to do that though. I thought this was the album was for.
Huh?
Like, I thought this album was, because again, Mike never had his day in the sun as a rapper. Like, when he was on, other people was on, and Atlanta was on major, and he never really had the T.I. moment or the Jeezy moment or the Outkast moment. And I thought that's what they was doing now, and they was giving him his little moment.
But Run the Jewels. So this is why I thought he was more popular than where I would have thought, because Run the Jewels had a track and a whole kit on a couple years ago on my FIFA game.
I don't think
that's a global, to me, that means I assume that means you're pretty big time, at least at a global pop cultural level, because the whole world plays that game. It's tremendously popular, and they had a whole Run the Jewels kit, especially a promo on the game so I was like, wow, he must be. And I remember students years ago when Run the Jewels first came out were sending me, like, have you heard this, thinking like I would appreciate the radicalism that they thought they heard in the music. But go ahead.
Listen, you got trap music, right? The trap rap, but there's also cafe rap. There's also dorm room rap.
Wait, I'm sorry, Diallo. My bad to interrupt. But I need the white translation for the black audience is hilarious. Yes, kit equals uniform for the black people in the chat. Yes, it's world football soccer language for uniform. Sorry. Thank you, TG, though.
So, there are certain people in obscure pockets. There's D&D rap. There's rappers that black folks and people who play Dungeons and Dragons listen to. So and with the advent of the internet, and because people with the technology is more accessible, you know, hip hop has kind of gone the way of porn. Don't ask me to explain how.
No, we don't. We'll take
Huh?
we'll take your advice and your
Yeah.
analysis.
So
somebody asked Killer
somebody
Mike
can-
independent. I'm not sure.
Someone can be immensely popular in a very niche group or community, or amongst people who are like, you know, FIFA fans and can and they find overlaps in these little relationships, you know. So there are people in the hood who never heard of Killer Mike, but there's people in the NRA and Bernie supporters both all love Killer Mike. So, you know,
and the legalized weed community would know him too.
Right. So yeah.
Well, you don't have to know Mike, but would y'all agree? Everybody know who Bob Marley is. Even your babies, they know who Bob Marley is, right?
Yeah, but wait one second before we go to that
point.
though.
There's one more lesson to be learned from Cuddly Mike.
You better stop.
He's custody Mike, huh?
You better stop, bro. You want to be able to come to Atlanta? Oh no.
I just wanted to show.
He ain't popping like that in Atlanta. I ain't said nothing bad about Gucci Mane.
I just wanted to show real quick.
Nothing bad about nobody that really matter in Atlanta.
Damn, man.
Methodologically, this is something I used to and still encourage in my hip hop classes and just in general. So it's a very simple process for determining how independent or one is or is not. Some of it's already described here, but usually I just go right here to the label section on their Wikipedia page. There's Atlantic and Columbia. So that's Sony Music, and that's Atlantic, I believe, is Universal. I'll double check that. So, well, I don't know the specifics.
On his own?
No, Atlantic is
finance his own album.
Atlantic is part of Warner Music Group. So I don't know what the specifics are with this album, but he has relationships. So there's usually the big three get involved at the level of distribution. So the point is, where was he getting platformed in digital spaces, and who was paying for that? How was he getting? Where was his song getting, or his album being promoted, and to what extent? You know, and usually it's at the level of at that point that you have to make some arrangement with one of those big three. So I don't know to what extent. Now, some people will say I have my own independent label. But then they gotta sign up under one of these distributors if they want that independence to be heard or distributed. So I don't know. I don't. But I just wanted to. I'll yeah.
Well, one, no, I obviously he's not independent, but yeah, I agree with Elon when saying Diallo has not been to Atlanta much, because if he wasn't a big thing, his ass wouldn't be on the at Jackson Hatfield Airport. As soon as you walk in the airport, boom, big Killer Mike right next to.
So now look at this though. So this is
in Atlanta with y'all. What you talking about? You need to.
If you go to the Killer Mike if you go to the Michael album page, it shows here the label is VLNS and Loma Vista, which is founded by a former CEO of Warner Brothers, executive at Interscope. So
Rebellion.
I don't know. So I don't know what VLNS is, but there's it's maybe relatively independent, but it seems to still be in some sort of connection with industry people.
So. Look who he got producing on that. That ain't no goddamn.
I didn't even know this. So
in the bathroom album, he got Dr. Dre. Oh no, it's Cool and Dre.
No, it's Cool and Dre, but he's got Andre 3000 was on there, and No ID. No ID did a lot for Jay-Z too. So.
No ID, man. Since he don't do them Common collabs anymore.
So, you sent this other link, Geechee, before we leave this topic. What is this?
No, that's Diallo just sent the independent.
Sorry.
I can drop knowledge too.
My bad. Rapper Killer Mike says he had a long talk with God after the Grammys arrest. Oh.
You know what Diallo want to do. Diallo gonna find something about God.
Oh boy.
He's the most God-loving God person in the whole world.
Killer Mike has opened up his feelings about the arrest. Atlanta-born rapper, escorted. You'll find yourself in a position where it's just you and God. And I took a couple hours, man. I just was just by myself, and I was just thankful. I took time to thank God and to say I appreciate the blessings you've given me, and I was glad.
Like that's blasphemy.
Get off that
I was glad
man.
that I got to use. I had used those 3 hours to be thankful to God and to calm and to meditate. Because the very next morning I got a call that my child, after being on a list for 3 years, finally got his kidney. And I could just truly tell you that God is real. Okay.
There you go. Jesus is real. I know.
I could have succumbed to anger and evil and talked shit, but I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. Not only that I won, but I'm grateful that God showed me within 24 hours that there's something more important than even the accolades you've worked for. Jesus and that's Christ. My family and my child, and I'm thankful.
Jesus.
Listen, man.
He's being applauded for his speech after George Floyd's death, or being killed, and for its force and vulnerability. And its defense of police and black businesses. Rapper and activist was released Sunday on his own recognizance. Booked for a misdemeanor battery.
In the future, what we've lost as a people.
What's that?
What we've lost the ability to get arrested with dignity. During the civil rights movement, they had a whole busloads of us arrested. And remember, SNCC would be training you on how to get arrested with class and dignity. You notice they put the cuffs on you, you have your head up and you look forward. Cutley getting carried out, looking all to the side, talking to people. Mama, I love you. I'm just saying, in the future, you just want to hold it down. Right. Look forward and chest out. Get arrested with dignity. I'm just saying, going forward, the whole world is watching. Cuddly, you looking over your shoulder, calling maybe somebody, call my mama. Don't do that. I'm just saying, if I get arrested here around the way on the South Side, yeah, I could do that. But if I ever get arrested at Carnegie Hall or the Grammys, where these prominent Negroes finding themselves, you got to civil rights your shit.
I mean, he actually did though. He actually did though. You got to give him credit though. He actually did that. That's the only
criticism of Cutley that night, because that was his day. Bless his heart.
You got to stop that, because when he was walking off, he did have his head up.
No, he was talking to the side. He don't talk to people on the side. Ain't nothing they could do for you in that moment. Man, he was hollering at people on the side and shit. That was not a civil rights arrest.
TOP, hold it down.
With dignity. Don't tremble.
I mean, let's talk
to the people on the side. Ain't nothing they can do for you. They just spectating.
No longer in the unknown.
Okay, I'm trying to bring some. I'm trying to get us back.
Listen, are we going to watch this movie for the show? I haven't seen it yet. I did a pre-warning review of it or preview of it, and from what I've read so far, I'm right. But are we gonna agree to do something with this?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it.
And then similarly, I'm behind also on the newly released Genius series about Malcolm and Martin. Are we going to do that one too? Because I did a pre-review on that one too. I'm saying, I'm asking.
Yeah, no, let's do it. We ain't watched something in a long time, Diallo, and you don't ever watch it anyway. But we ain't watched something.
So, do you want to pick one? Or are we going to do both of these, or what?
Well, One Love come out on.
I ain't watching
that. Holiday? What's the thing?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, what about the Genius series then, Diallo?
We can do the Genius series. We can do the Genius.
Oh, I'd rather watch Bob Marley. Me can't do it.
So which is it? You just said you're not going to watch the Bob Marley, but now you said you're not going to watch either one of them.
Jesus, oh Lord, have
the Marley movie. Look, the Marley movie for me is it's easy to dismiss as a setup, because the reviews, even the one you sent, claims that it's about Marley and him being a peacemaker. This article even claims that it deals with his Pan-Africanism and anti-colonial message in this film. I don't believe that for a second, and they don't deal with it. They don't explain themselves in this review, but I don't believe that. And the reason I don't believe that is because the setup is they center this film around the 1976 or 77 peace concert in Jamaica, where he's seen as a unifier, and they ignore the 1980 concert in Zimbabwe for African liberation. That, to me, when just in doing that, you remove him from his actual political context and start to rebrand him for what I'm sure this film is doing. So that's
So
yeah.
how about let's watch the Martin and Malcolm joint and deal with that. And because this released on February the 14th, we can have people in the chat who's coupled up. They can go with their partner and watch this, and they can report back to us. But we can kind of tell them what to look
I'm gonna
for.
watch it. Maybe my wife and I, maybe I'll invite her out for
Y'all
that.
hear what
I'm
Ziggy
gonna
Marley
see it.
said?
Yeah, I got a link of Ziggy Marley. If we ever got into the story today, because y'all if we got into the story, I did have a link from Ziggy Marley because they
Well,
said
what is it?
that-
Send it. Where? I thought aren't we doing it? Is it this?
Yeah.
You put the
I mean,
Chiron up and everything.
Ziggy
you
telling on
didn't pull up the link for the movie yet, but they said that all Bob Marley's family was involved on this film, right? And so we had a conversation before about the idea of Fred Hampton Jr. being involved, and that doesn't make the film more politically accurate, right? So, but it's clear in big letters that it's a Marley's family is on board, and it's officially approved life story by them. But again, I'm like, okay, officially approved life film by them. But when you look at Ziggy Marley and some other people, other Marleys has been doing some interesting things, but Ziggy in particular, we already know Ziggy don't really carry out politics. And Steve,
this politics is love. What are you talking
what
about?
you mean, man?
Politics
No,
is love and
Ziggy
acceptance.
Ziggy on some other shit.
Ziggy Marley signs letter supporting Israel. Also posts free Gaza from Hamas. Wow.
Ziggy's too many
Both
zigzags.
sides
Yeah.
Wow.
of the fence. Y'all ain't heard that song? I play both sides of the fence.
That's not even both sides. This is just one side. This is
He posted something. Calm down. Yeah. Listen.
this is against Hamas. This is against Palestine. He's saying
He
free
posted
Israel.
Free Gaza from Hamas.
From
I didn't
Hamas.
read, beloved. I didn't read, beloved.
Yeah,
I just saw the free Gaza and I stopped there. That's all I need to hear. I didn't read,
You just
beloved.
don't read, beloved.
I saw free Gaza.
You saw
Lord
free
have
Gaza.
mercy.
Let's stop reading.
Right. Hamas is colonizing Gaza.
So
oh man. So Ziggy, which family is on board?
that's not
Rita
the-
and who?
they said all of his family.
Advocating
So
for genocide is not the worst thing he's done in recently, though.
Oh damn, he's done worse than that.
he performed for the IOF. Are you serious?
But okay, listen.
Damn.
I can say this because I'm not Jamaican, but I've been in business with the Jamaican before. Bob Marley said he
Here we go.
wanted a Ziggy. Ziggy said he wanted a Jamaican actor to play Bob Marley, but there just wasn't one qualified or good enough. So that's why-
Damn.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, thank you, lawyer Brarian, for reminding me. Yeah, if I've ever wanted our show to end on at 10, this would be the day, because at 10 a.m. On Matt Capitalism's YouTube is Hiram. Hiram's live. Our
You
very
just don't read, beloved.
is going to be live on Millennials Are Killing Capitalism, and I was just in their counterinsurgency study group last night. It was dope. This right here is counterinsurgency. This is definitely, because part of the counterinsurgency manual we were reading through is the state's overt desire to ingratiate itself with groups that are aggrieved and struggling, and to be seen as the legitimate carriers of of a rebranded coin, COIN, counterinsurgency narrative that they want very much to redistribute and redefine all of these narratives and frames, and use films and pop culture and messaging and all forms of media. A lot of what we were talking about last night dealt with that. So this is Bob Marley. This film is absolutely counterinsurgency.
So you're trying to tell me that Bob Marley film is not going to talk anything about connection to Walter Rodney, Marcus Garvey? They're not going to have any anti-imperialist culture. They're not going to properly
most,
present Tosh.
At most, you will see an image. This is what I would predict. At most, you would see imaged, like on the background, like when we saw a Huey Newton poster in the first Black Panther movie on a closet door. You might see a Garvey poster. Somebody might even say in a passing, like Marcus Garvey said, and keep it moving.
What
But
about some
no, it's
Peter
not going to
Tosh?
be.
You're not gonna get no Peter Tosh.
No, because by the time this film takes place, Peter Tosh has already broken from Bob.
Bunny too.
And Bunny too. All of it. So they're not gonna be there. This is not gonna be
okay. But what about his homophobia and his extramarital affairs? You think they're gonna cover that part?
They're gonna get all of that, and they might get it because this is something I've honestly been struggling with. The book, the reader, I got my daughter named after Bob, a copy last year of Rita's autobiography, and Rita says that after they were married and against her wishes, he R-worded her. I don't want to get us another YouTube thing, but she straight out said that Bob R-worded her. And I've honestly been talking with my daughter and everybody. I don't know. I've really been struggling with that. That was, I had never read that. I had never heard that before, and I knew about the multiple wives, women, girlfriends, baby mamas. I knew about all of the sleeping around. And for some reason, I can rationalize that or overcome that. But the R word piece, and she wrote it. I mean, she said he R'd me. And I'm like, I don't know how she's dealt with it. I don't know how I don't know. So I'm really struggling with it. But so I doubt we'll get any of that, but we will get, he's got a whole bunch of kids, a whole bunch of women. We'll definitely hear about his white father. We'll definitely hear about his desire for peace. We won't hear any of his own lyrics where he's condemning the CIA, where he even says in one of his verses, I feel like bombing a church because I know that the preacher is lying. These are Bob Marley lyrics. So like, you know, if there's a blood, let it run. If there's a blood, let it run. You know, he's expressed willingness to engage or support anti-colonial struggle as he would show up in Africa after this movie depicts and demonstrate that. But we're not getting any of that.
So is this the modern day or the new version of Denzel? So he's this guy who's playing Marley. Also played Malcolm X. He also played
Malcolm.
Yeah, right. And so again, I think. Well, I remember an interview he had with Stephen.
Look at the Sopranos nepotism. Isn't this James's son?
Yeah,
Michael Gandolfini. So we got the nepotism happening. Okay.
I mean,
I do like Lashana Lynch. If I'm not mistaken, isn't she the one? Isn't she from out here? She might be from out here. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Well,
I just thought it was wild that Ziggy said he couldn't find a suitable Jamaican actor.
Clearly. What's up, Jamaica? What's up with your acting chops, Jamaica?
You know, Jamaicans ain't known for their talents.
Got no talents.
Bob Marley's the only talented Jamaican we ever got.
They only got one job, if any at all.
Yeah, I mean, where are you going to find a Jamaican actor? I mean, come on. You got
actually, was Bob homophobic? Where did you mention that? Was he? That part I don't know. I'm not aware of.
I mean, in one of the articles, they were saying how they was focusing. They will focus a small part on that he made some homophobic slurs or comments, but I don't remember any of them. But I'm also
stereotypically it would stand to reason from
like Jamaica
and Rastas in general, the Old Testament stuff. It's a lot of so yeah. And I don't think we'll get this version of the white parenting Jamila, that his white father had sex with a teenage mother and got her pregnant. I don't think that's the version we're gonna get. It'll somehow be more romanticized. They'll Pocahontas that story.
We don't know.
Do you think the sister who's playing Rita, you think they will show some of Rita's raising her voice with her pen and pushing back for African liberation? Do you think they would?
No. It'll be a challenge to Bob's infidelity and or a support for his his celebrity or something like that. It's not going to be, she's not going to be there to be the reminder of his actual politics. It's going to be, and I'm not even sure she'll get, I mean, will she get properly credited as a performer herself, as a songwriter, as a mother, I don't know.
If Ziggy's been nothing else, I mean, Ziggy been a sellout for sure. But one thing you can say throughout his public persona or public career, he's been very protective of his mother. I mean, you listen to his albums and the songs he's dedicated to his mother, and he's even sung about all the other women and her status and her treatment. So I don't know. Again, I ain't seen the movie, and I didn't intend to see the movie. But I would be surprised if Rita didn't get at least positive representation, if not surface and superficial, still very positive. So because Ziggy has always been quite protective of his mother.
So Diallo, answer this question again. We've done it a couple times on the platform, but when you're engaged in political education or this type of activity, how do you respond to people saying that because they said hardly any relative that you can find without an associate producer credit when the credits run, if the family tell a story and they approve of it, how can you, as some person who don't even know Bob Marley, argue that it wasn't politically accurate or it wasn't?
Well, first of all, I don't do political education. I do political hateration. Number one. Number two, I don't think that, which we can say, sometimes someone's proximity to an event or to an individual can obscure their assessments. Number two. Number three, individuals such as Bob Marley or Chairman Fred Hampton belong to all of us. You know, the movement, the community, the struggles at that time made that person, and they belong to us and we belong to them. So when someone becomes, for lack of a better term, iconic, I do believe that it is appropriate and acceptable for people, quote unquote, outside, whether fans, whether associates, whether people who organize with them. I don't believe that the family, for such individuals, Malcolm X and these type of individuals, for the families to say, well, we're the only first and only and final voice, you know, and that really doesn't work for anyone. You know, my life, I have my wife, and y'all can't believe nothing she say about me. I have my wife, I have my children, but I have a whole community. I have an extended family. I got, you know, brothers and sisters from another mothers. And so I don't accept that. I think we have to rest on the accuracy and what is understood. I know that intimate partners and families and children will have special insights, but that is valid. But that doesn't invalidate the larger community's perceptions, articulating their perceptions, our conclusions, our impressions, and how we intend to elevate or critique and dismantle a person. Right. So, no, I mean, so I don't really buy into that, okay, well, if the family says it, everybody else shut up. You know?
So Jared, you got into this a little bit, and I normally have conversations with artists, you know, actors and whatever, musicians, and Ricky claimed that it's always hostile, but so this idea of the power of art, and Bob Marley's music has done something that popularized real issues, focuses on African liberation. For several decades, he's been doing that. Pan-Africanist politics, international revolutionary, all these things by art, right? So what do you think is going to happen or going to be presented about art, the role of art, how powerful art is? Do you think it's going to translate to something else, especially as you think about propaganda?
No, everybody, I mean, they'll repeat the refrain. I'm sure we'll get another version of music is the universal language and all this other kind of nonsense and these kinds of messages. And this came up again on the study group last night. Shout out to Dylan Rodriguez and Jared Ware for this. I mean, and everybody on that call, it was dope. But one of the points that kept coming up was, and in fact, Jared made the point, that if you read from the state's perspective, I would add to this also the history of mass communications research, but their approach to counterinsurgency. They are, as Jared put it, actually performing the work of dialectical materialism. That is, by truly studying how their society works, how people within their society operate in response to what is being imposed on them. It is very much what I used to hear, like even when Dr. Clark used to talk about the Napoleon invasion of Africa. It was not just a military invasion. He brought academics and scientists and artists. His whole point was, I want to know the people I'm conquering. This is how you best manage and rule them permanently. This is what Fanon talked about, colonialism and culture. You don't destroy the culture of the people you're conquering. You ossify it in a colonial form that testifies against them. So they're very well, I mean, the book I always reference, the Stoner Saunders book, CIA and the Cultural Cold War. They're very clear. Everything from Picasso paintings to newspapers to magazines about movies and poetry to books about Pan-Africanism. I mean, they were reviewing George Padmore's work to see if it was going to go a certain way politically. It could be used a certain way. I mean, they're reading that book that white boy wrote, FBI's EYE, about the FBI studying Black writing styles so they could mimic them in an attempt to perform Blackness to other Black people in some counterintelligence operation effort. I mean, my point in all of this is they are very happy to not only study the targeted enemy group, but to infuse to Diallo's point about religion. Constantine's co-optation of Christianity was like, I'm going to use your ish to spread my empire. I'm not going to totally destroy you. Oh, you want to talk about this Jesus cat? You know what? Me too. And guess what? Jesus, in my rendition of him, said I should be in charge. And you should accept your master's teaching. I mean, it's beautiful, man. It's like, I mean, on some level, I really appreciate the insanity and the sickness and I just appreciate that they're clear. We're not messing around here. We have no option but to manipulate people in every facet of their lives. As Jen Easterly said from the Homeland Security today, to develop their cognitive infrastructure, to build up how we actually think. I can't get that phrase is just so yeah, man. So they're gonna keep messing with us, and we're in trouble.
Well, maybe we have a little bit of positive news and maybe a solution, right? So I want you to play this video. And we've seen this viral. Of course, I'm from so and so. Of course, I do this. I am this. Of course, I do this. So one of the sisters from Detroit has come up with this building a village. And I want you to play this Instagram clip, and we can kind of get into this. Get y'all thoughts.
I'm building a village. Of course, we have our own street sign. I'm building a village. Of course, we drive 25. I'm building a village. Of course, we have women-owned businesses on site. The Goddess Marketplace. I'm building a village. Of course, our village hall was donated by the Ellen Show. I'm building a village. Of course, we have a homework house for the children in our community. I'm building a village. Of course, we have a basketball court dedicated to my 3 sons. I'm building a village. Of course, we have solar streetlights with Wi-Fi capability. I'm building a village. Of course, we have a STEM lab for the children inside of a shipping container. I'm building a village. Of course, we own the majority of this block. We're Avalon Village, and of course, we're the I'm building a village.
So this Avalon Village, again, I know we talked about people are normally, when a solution come, they center it around supporting businesses, creating businesses, or funding businesses. And all through that, she's, pretty much talks about that. So this is in Detroit, and they're converting vacant and blighted land into, valuable urban resources that provide basic living components for a quality, comfortable, and prosperous life. In addition, they provide basic services to the community to enhance traditional municipal or government services that have been reduced, eliminated, or have become unaffordable. She says she's inspired by, she lost her son, a 2-year-old son, in a hit and run, and then she lost her 23-year-old son, who was shot and killed in the neighborhood. So I wonder, again, initially, what y'all think about the idea of this building a village type thing, and it's always seemed to kind of lead to some type of business opportunity, whether it's real estate or starting Black businesses within a place. And yeah, she did say Ellen DeGeneres donated something to her space. But what's some initial thoughts I have about building a village?
Well, I think that red, black, and green shawl thing, tunic she's wearing is fly as hell.
Okay. Same with the basketball court. Yeah, I like that too. Red, black, and green
I
basketball
like
court.
that tunic that she's wearing. That shit is fly.
Right.
And I could get one of those. So I
See,
would
but Diallo always wants to channel the
village market. What she call it? I go to the and I don't. Hey, listen. And you mad about Ellen DeGeneres? She owes the Black community quite a bit. We made a song about her. So
I saw a video that said she killed her DJ, her Black DJ.
That's right. That's right.
So shit. At least she could do is kick some money back to us. We made songs about her.
So Diallo wants to channel the caucus. What is it? The caucus devil's advocate or whatever. But I want to channel Dr. Umar and ask, is this appropriate use of bunny hopping then? Is this or because she got a whole neighborhood and a whole town from one bunny hopped, not that they had a relationship per se, but one bunny hopped donation, and Umar, for all the non-bunny hopping, at least in terms of infrastructure, is still lagging behind. So maybe would this be an acceptable bunny hop if it boosts and advances the development of this autonomy?
I mean, how getting money from a celebrity, how getting a tax deductible donation qualifies bunny hop? Because I might be in trouble.
I don't know.
I might have some issues now. I thought my record was clean, but now I got to go back to
review my too. I mean, damn, we bunny hopping.
If getting money from white liberals, that's bunny hop.
I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know what the rules are. Maybe it isn't bunny hopping if there's no physical engagement. And it's just reparations.
Down with the definitions, man. Y'all need to
all right, my bad.
So
here we go.
So Ricky made a good point in terms of like distinguishing this between liberated zones. But let's play this clip and then I'll share some of the things I heard her say.
All right.
Land dispute could be decided tonight. This lot is owned by the city of Highland Park. A company that owns dozens of properties in the city is trying to buy it, but a longtime community activist wants to take over the deed. Will Jones is live in Highland Park to explain. Will, good evening.
Hey, Kimberly, Mama Shu is well known in Highland Park for the work that she's been doing for years. Her nonprofit owns many lots on this block, including that basketball court. You see the kids there having a good time. Her nonprofit even takes care of property lots that she doesn't even own, like this one, this community garden here. This is what is up for dispute. Mama Shu's heart and soul is on this block in Highland Park, transforming it into a place of beauty and for personal growth through her nonprofit, the Avalon Village. Tonight, the Highland Park City Council is making a decision that Mama Shu says could impact her mission on Avalon. The council is set to vote on a resolution to sell this vacant property to the adjacent property owner, the owner of this vacant duplex, which she describes as blight.
There's people who tried to break into the house and actually who have tried to even make it more blighted.
But the property owner tells Local 4 he plans to renovate the duplex that he's owned since 2017 and use the adjacent property for green space for tenants. He says he first tried to buy the neighboring property in 2018, but faced delays from the city. Although 55 Avalon is owned by the city, Mama Shu says her nonprofit has been taking care of this lot for years. They put in a community garden. Mama Shu says the Avalon Village has filed an application to purchase 55 Avalon, believing people who live in Highland Park should own it.
I'm thinking, why is it a question between who should actually get it? Who has the most receipts? Who loves to be here?
The property owner of this duplex is Rick Lopez. His company owns dozens of properties in Highland Park. He says if the council declines his request to buy this adjacent property, he may reconsider his investment in this community. We're live in Hyde Park in Highland.
So,
You know,
so real quick. So she talked about she want to live in a beautiful city. She want flowers. She want thriving businesses. She felt that's what they deserve. And initially she started building the village and she didn't have any money. She used her income tax. She went to work. She started selling fish sandwiches for $5, getting donations. And once they were selling the first building for $5,000, she only had $3,000. She called them and said, "Hey, this is all I got." And that started, and she started getting donations and other stuff, and the Ellen stuff happened. And then the biggest thing that they have is an after school hub. So they have, I think that first big building by the garden is a really big homework center where kids can come and do homework. But again, when you start talking about liberated zones, and just as well as Roland was able to present this political power move and organizing. Sometimes we could equate this to her building a liberated zone. And so I'm curious to your thought about why this isn't, or why this possibly could be something what we call a liberated zone.
Again, it's not a village. I mean, in terms of that's branding and marketing and promotion, which I do respect in terms of, but in a village, it's not. You see, they are still governed by the city council, and they still are underneath the city bureaucracy. But it is a village in the sense that when we talk, it takes a village, people coming together, pulling their resources, coming up with an agenda and cooperating. And it's by no means radical or revolutionary, but these are the type of spaces that a lot of radicals and revolutionaries grow out of. I remember growing up, and they had like the Boys Learning Center and even the local Boys and Girls Club in certain spaces that allow people to come together within under-resourced or oppressed spaces, and where certain dialogues and certain actions where people can see that them working together and coordinating and cooperating can produce, or people just conceptualizing an immaterial idea, and then over a measured period of time see a physical manifestation. Let's get this basketball court. I don't think we need to overstate what these type of actions or what these type of formations are. Of course, I mean, there's always somebody with their hand in the pocket, always somebody scraping off the top or draining from the bottom. Those type of things happen. But I've actually went on a tour of Detroit. We went to Avalon Village and several other spaces that focus heavily on.
So you was there. You was there with her. You was there with her. That's Avalon.
I didn't meet her, actually. They sent somebody out to kind of walk us through. But we went to almost a dozen different community projects that focused a lot on community gardens, because there was so much empty space in Detroit. There were so many just abandoned lots. And that you just kind of conceptualize how you're going to organize, and you look at what resources are available to you. And there's just empty space everywhere. And even though Detroit is an environment like Chicago that you can't really grow year round and things like that, but it's got some spaces. You get a couple of boxes and some soil and you're on your way. And this is land that no one was paying attention to. These are spaces that nobody was paying attention to. And then these investors came in buying lots and lots of land. Right. Lots, not lots in amount, but just buying these lots sight unseen. They're doing that here in this community. People just come buy up shit sight unseen. So I just think that it's not really a village. I don't, and I know sometimes when you're promoting and you're fundraising, you want to really just hype shit and big shit up. but it is an effort or something, a good example, a good role model. I do appreciate how she promotes it and how she becomes a voice for it, but I don't really know enough just from, doing a walking tour and kind of following the socials, really the infrastructure. But these type of things, even though it's not revolutionary, I think it is most definitely valid, and it is a good fertile soil for cultivating, organizing, more radical and revolutionary organizing.
So Jared, I when I was looking through some stuff, I saw a quote you had when you was running with Rosa about Detroit. And so she used to work for Highland Park Public Schools for like 27 years. And so she said she experienced the overcrowded classroom, lack of resources. So that's why she wanted to build something like that homework house. And the space will have, library, computers, 3D printers, music studios, kitchen, full bathrooms, and handicap accessible. She also talked about having a STEM lab, the basketball court you saw, refurbished shipping containers that the house that house this goddess market place that they will have. And then obviously a store where women, artisans, and entrepreneurs can sell their products. But I mean, as much as you know about Detroit and as much you know about the political context or climate of this, like what are some of your thoughts? Again,
So
as you think about
first,
this.
I don't remember this, but I'm glad I found this because I want to start here my answer this way with this.
Black History Month condescending. I remember I was in the store and they had a poster on the wall that said, Black History is not a month, it's a movement. Never stop, never settle, drink Hennessy. I was like, what the fuck? Y'all using Black History to sell me Hennessy? There is nothing Black History about Hennessy. Why y'all trying to connect it to? I was gonna buy it anyway. Why y'all doing all that?
All right, so that was I just wanted to preface my answer with that joke. And shout out to that brother. He's a DC area based comedian who actually at one point, I don't know the status of this, he had reached out to me because he's building a joke around buying power. So I was like, I'm looking forward to that level of collaboration. I've never been involved with a comedian developing a joke, but I preface what I was gonna say with that because of what I saw Ricky said this, because that it's not a liberated zone because land and space would have to be defended. And how is that happening void of political power? So the connection again, all respect due to the good brother, Dr. Kemet Shockley, because it was my previous enjoyment of Hennessy that led to one of my worst moments as an adult in these activist academic spaces.
Anything is possible.
But it was that exact point that was the one that pushed me over the edge, because the discussion he kept saying, similar to this, we will build an African village. He was using the Atlanta, Georgia, where we were at the time, as that region as an example. And he said, we will just begin behaving as African people in an African-centered way. And then I just kept asking, well, how are you going to get that arrangement? How are you going to get the land? How are you going to get the people in there? How are you going to Ricky's point, defend that space? Because when you pull African people out of their current arrangement in this economy as an extractive, colonized, exploited resource, there's going to be a problem. And the state is going to have a response. They're not just going to let you recede into this African village. And his answers were just never sufficient. And because I just continued drinking away, I just got increasingly more frustrated. And to his credit, thankfully, he responded as an African, as a mature, appropriate African would, and just redirected my energy back to where the focus where it should be. But the point being, that was my point and still is my question. So as we see here, they're already saying it's not up to you. Even when she's using the space in that lot for what this dude claims he wants to leave it for, green space for the community, it's not up to you. You don't have the ability to mandate that land will be used that way or to defend your decision. So as much as I admire her attempt, that's always one of the issues I run into all the time.
So when you was having your conversation with this doc, did he bring up Olatunji African Village in South Carolina?
No, there was no specific. Yeah,
because so that place, you know, I know the king there, and his dad is the one who founded that. And the story goes, his dad ran with Malcolm X and some of them, and he decided to start his own African Igbo village there in South Carolina. I actually never heard of the village when I was younger, but I learned about it like in my late 20s. And I went there a couple of times. That's the father who started it. And when we talk about how they are able to have some level of self-determination there, they can do their own thing. And so I asked about like, well, does the police come and interact with y'all? They were like, oh, they don't really come down here. And then it was like, or less, right? And the or less part is like, if they wanted to, they can come and there's no way that you can defend yourself, right? And living there, it's only like, I don't know now, but maybe it's like 4 or 5 families that's living there. And then some people visit and some people can move there. But go ahead, Diallo.
I don't think it doesn't make sense to talk about Black people securing and defending spaces especially within the borders or confines of the United States. That's absurd. If you really want to talk, I mean, you read
which is why we shouldn't be talking about
Handbook of Revolutionary Warfare or Che's book on guerrilla warfare. If you're facing a well-equipped, entrenched, established enemy, the one thing you don't want is territory. Guerrillas, the Vietnamese, the Viet Cong didn't hold territory in their own damn country when they were at war. So I think just even bringing up the fact that, oh, can you defend or this or that? I mean, we see with this woman, they're fighting this out in the city council. They're going to fight it out in the courts if it goes there. And they're fighting it out in the court of public opinion. So there's other ways to conflict but in terms of these groups, and I'm not really with going off to isolated woods. I don't care if it's Umar's school up in the woods or villages and shit, because I mean that shit just has never played out well. You know, I'm more like Mao said, you know, the revolutionary is the fish and the people are the water. So going off to isolate yourself, you can't claim you're making the revolution and you're not dwelling and engaged and moving amongst the masses of the people, you know, especially in this environment. So just getting a cadre or a small group of like-minded people to go off and isolate yourself for whatever reason, it may be self-affirming, it may be healing or whatever, but that ain't how revolutions generally play out. And these political, liberal, progressive, community activists, community garden, reclaiming spaces type groups, I think that trying to say, well, they're not revolutionary, that's true. But if we look at them and evaluate them for what they actually are and what they actually do, are they making a positive contribution to our just aspirations? And that's a low bar, but it still is a relevant or legitimate question to ask or position to have. So I'm not going to, you know, really evaluate them on a revolutionary, you know, can they combat the local police or the National Guard or the U.S. military?
Let's stay there because that's my next question.
Are they able to defy the will of the local government or the local politicians? I mean, that ain't what they're there to do, and that's not really their job as these villages, as we call them, or these community groups.
I don't know. I'm not sure about all that, because what I'm saying, whenever terms of defending, just like when she talked about the land that Jared said that she actually don't control, it's not up to her. That's kind of what I'm talking about. We're not talking militarily, right? Because obviously that's not a conversation. But if the government wants to say we're taking this land or we're doing this or you can't do this, like again, more so the political power that one is claiming to have by being this self-determining village or nation or whatever, then how does that translate in the real world? Like what type of moves that you can make to actually show you have political power, being this small little collective or few people with really no leverage? So that, like, again, it's not to say that, hey, well, can you shoot it out with the government? No, okay, well, never mind. Because I mean, even the Branch Davidians couldn't, with all those massive weapons, they still was not gonna win. But yeah, but again, that leads to my next question. You said that the just aspirations. I hear the idea of not dealing with people or speaking to critiquing people who are doing the work. And so I would ask both of y'all, like, what do y'all consider? And I know we talked about this before in terms of critiques and writing books and these other things, but what is necessarily doing the work? Will that be doing the work? Like, is that something that is community work or work that you consider as somebody doing the work? And then how would, like, what would be the work to you? But then how would you respond to what isn't work, but people think it is work? Like, maybe they're doing busy work.
I have a hard time defining what is the work. I appreciate all of these efforts. I do think many of them, my own included, are insufficient and in some cases not logically or analytically properly thought out. But at the same time, I think if those of us who have certain perspectives or certain definitions of what we think are radical or revolutionary politics, what I would think should be our approach to efforts like this, if we in fact distinguish ourselves from this, is to say we have to do more to prepare ourselves to work with groups like this so that when they run into these contradictions, the leftward conclusions and analyses can be encouraged. Instead of saying, don't start a business, don't try to set up a liberated zone, don't try to do this, we should say, okay, do all of that. And when you run into all of the contradictions we know are going to come, here we are with a frame, with an analysis so that you don't get dragged over. So in other words, in the electoral context, it wouldn't be don't vote for Biden and then leave it there for people to go assume you mean vote for Trump. It would be don't vote for Biden, and then here's what we would encourage your new frame or analysis or engagement with electoral politics be. So
I think that's absolutely perfect. I mean, there it is.
Oh, okay, well, let's try this again. Let's try
Stop
to
there, cut the show. If I got that response from Diallo, that's it. I'm good.
No. We need one more.
Cherry on
one more. I need us to, like, clearly, Mike. Yeah, do the click.
Hold on, I got.
I mean, we as revolutionaries, as we engage with Diallo and progressives and activists,
with Killer Mike knocking the home run, and we know Jared was at Killer Mike barbershop trying to start some shit. But
yeah, I get nervous anytime you see a bald head man walk in a barbershop. You know he ain't there for nothing constructive.
No, but listen,
he's not there on business.
Diallo, I need you to clear this up for me. I think Jared did a good job there. But for you, when you think about doing the work, how do you fit in? So, again, one of her goals was to build a cafe, a greenhouse for farm to table cooking, a laundromat, wellness center, and marketplace housing on that street. Marketplace house on that street. What is the role of businesses, entrepreneurship, working? Because I know we had the argument about why are we celebrating entrepreneurs more than the workers, but what is the role of the economic exchange that's happening when you talk about doing the work? Could having a business be doing the work, or how do you relate the businesses and entrepreneurship to doing the work? Should that even ever be considered that, oh, this person started a business, so they're doing the work?
Well, it's about ideology. I would take a business owner or entrepreneur with a Pan-Africanist radical ideology before I took a armed insurgent with a reactionary ideology in the streets fighting the system. So it's really about the ideology. If they are pushing a particular ideology, if they have a particular conclusion, if they do have a real and comprehensive agenda that points towards a goal that is again advances the interests of the community, but is subversive to the oppressive and parasitic system that we all have to navigate, then there's an old saying, sin is not what you do, but the spirit in which you do it. So if somebody's coming to me and saying, oh, we need to train in the community, which I interact with people, and people come to me and say, we need to open businesses in the community, more before I even get into the viability or the value of their work, I want to know their ideology. Because a lot of times you have people that really are sincere to make change, but they really don't have any type of resources available to them, or the ideas laying around, or the larger community that they have to work through really isn't going to move beyond a certain point. So more so, I know everybody's this entrepreneurial cult and this entrepreneurial fixation and this investment fixation. I know that is the language, that is the time. It's something you have to navigate and deal with. Everybody says it, and everybody's talking about women-owned businesses now as if they're going to be different than men-owned businesses, and and then we went from black business, women-owned, queer-owned businesses, and disabled or neurodivergent-owned businesses. You can put anything in front of businesses, but all businesses got to do the same shit under capitalism. So more so than anything, I need to know that ideology. And as Jared said, with his techniques, if you go and interact with the group that says we're doing this entrepreneurialism, they're going to hit a wall, and there's going to become a time where you're going to either have to, become a parasite and exploit your people in order to sustain your business, or you're going to have to understand the limits that business, in terms of the good you can do as an entrepreneur or as a capitalist, when those contradiction comes, and then people are going to seek out other options.
You did
on the front, yeah.
You did a bar just now. And I could literally see and hear how neurodivergent business or neurodivergent.
Yeah, they just slap any oppressed group.
I mean, that shit would be wild, but
any oppressed group in front of business, and they think that justifies capitalism. Just any group that's being exploited or being targeted at the moment, or that all groups are really targeted, but whatever group is. I remember that movie Bruno. Did y'all see Bruno?
No.
Well, at the time when that movie came out, everybody was talking about the Janjaweed militias and their atrocities in the Darfur region in Sudan. And he was basically talking to this image consultant. And the image consultant was like, well, the Darfur region is very popular now. You can show up and make a donation or give a talk about the Darfur region. He was like, Darfur is old. What's Dar 5? What's the new hot cause? Because Darfur, everybody's done that. I want to be original. So give me a Dar 5.
So the reason why I became even more interested in this story, because we are so CMB is also in Detroit too, and we're supposed to go up there and do some internal stuff. But it was interesting, and then I want to pull this last link up. So there's supposed to be this private investor of $10 billion in that area. And so I'm very curious to see again how this happened, how it relates to her. I was trying to look through some news on how she feel about it, because it's anonymous at this point and they will roll out later. But I could just anticipate what is that going to do to that space, and if it's something that she could get some funding and help, or is she going to be totally move out? But I think it would be interesting to follow that. But again, that's why
this is interesting. And the mayor is skeptical of a $10 billion promise that has been made, where it says minority business leaders revealed that they had identified a $10 billion pledge to Highland Park from an anonymous global philanthropist. The money is not going to help with community development, but to help retire the city's $54 million water bill. The $10 billion isn't a proposal or idea. Whoops. I hate when it does this. It's real. He hopes to raise the standard of living. The mayor, on the other hand, says he has no idea where that kind of money is coming from. It seems to me you shouldn't be able to make an anonymous $10 billion investment. and I mean, I don't understand. And what is the Mana Development Corp? And who is Kenneth Hogan speaking on? Is
shit? Wow.
I mean, there have been millions of dollars invested. So yeah, and it doesn't really say it. Just, but I'm interested that the first line says it was minority business leaders that had identified this. So I don't know if this is going to be another one of these. We help develop for business. Now, just quickly, I'm looking at this Mana development page, a development group. I don't see, with all due respect to people of my complexion, I see maybe 3 people who might, 4 people, maybe 5. There's a handful of perhaps beiges in there.
I don't
see
see
one
color.
black. There's one. I don't see color. I see one. There might be, I don't know. He could be a couple things. He could be a couple things. He might be a couple things, but I don't know. We're stretching is my point. And I'm just not sure. So they develop Panera Breads and stuff like that. So it's like, this is, so I don't know. I'm just not, I'm not getting Black Revolution vibes. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if they're the ones handling the money, or I don't know why they're the spokesperson for it, but
right.
I'm not, it's not giving, as the youngsters say, it's not giving revolution.
Well, okay, y'all guys been negative all morning, and I'm really trying to fish for a revolutionary story. So let's try this one. Maybe another $100 million to a Black institution. But wait, don't go so fast. Go back. Go back up.
You sent the link. I'm
saying,
trying to keep up.
No. I'm saying don't go. Stay up at the top of that screen. Don't go down a little bit. Because if you see the picture of the brother and who next to him, Genocide Joe.
Yeah, that's genocide. So who's the brother though?
This is the.
I know that's not Steinbridge.
Well, he's the CEO of Steinbridge, and it's it's an employee-owned impact and real estate investment company. He's the CEO of it. But it looks like it's Black-led. But I want you to play that video because he said some shit in that video that I'm like.
Hey, they got 2 Black people at the top. This is a whole. They're already worlds, and a couple more on the second row.
Yeah, at the top.
I mean, 2 at the top.
You ain't never see those restaurants that had the Black people at. Black people at the front.
I'm just saying, and here's a couple on the second row. Up.
Wait, it's
the
not
whole
100.
third.
It's 100 million, isn't it? My bad. I put 100K.
No, it's 100 million, and it's a Robert F. Oh, it's connected to the Robert F. Smith thing, right? Or with his Student Freedom Initiative, to give money to HBCUs. Keller Williams, a global real estate company. Now, that was one of the questions that I was trying to raise when.
Play that. I need you to play that video too when you chat.
Oh, all right. Before when this issue came up as it regards to Morgan State, because where there was some I can't remember what it was, but with Spike Lee and the white ad agency, but as it pertains to these real estate groups, is it the agreement that they're going to build? I thought I've read it as it relates to this one. They're going to build the residential halls and the housing, student housing, and stuff like that. So they're gonna. It's basically them funding their own contract. It's like them paying themselves to pay themselves back with the contracts. But
yeah, and so the revenue streams, they trying to create more revenue streams for Virginia Union, plus potentially bring home ownership opportunities to graduates. University president Hakeem Lucas is probably spoken most out about it, but it's like them getting in on the real estate deal, but also having like a pathway for their graduates to get in there. But if you play this video,
to get loans to buy the property owned by these same real estate groups. So it seems like it's the incestuous cycle. We fund the people to make the decisions who will then return their own funding back to us through. And so they could say, we'll help people own houses, but as a home owner, we know what that really means. You take a loan from a bank to pay off your house, and then you owe debt to that for your whole life.
And
so,
I think,
yeah.
Right. I think we focus too much on investors and not enough on investees, the subject of investment. Because by definition, investment means you get more out than you put in. So I don't understand why anyone would celebrate an investor. Even at best, which I know they're not necessary, but at best you can consider investors a necessary evil. But now instead of
everybody in the chat talking about how they gonna leave us.
They're leaving us?
Yeah,
Oh,
everybody
man.
in chat, they're gonna keep promoting that they leaving us. So bye everybody. Go see Hiram.
Oh yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all.
saying.
Go see Hiram. We'll wrap up here and catch up later. I'm not mad at that. Go see Hiram on Millennials Are Killing Capitalism.
Play this real quick though.
How much of this and what do we?
It's just like I'll tell you when to stop. Like a couple. We don't play the whole thing.
All right. And now we're going to get a
This morning,
copy
I had
right
the
here.
privilege of engaging in conversation with a distinguished member of our community, Tawan Davis, the CEO of the Steinbridge Group, a real estate investment and asset management company, a leader in real estate, development, and investment, and served as vice president of the New York City Economic Development Corporation, where he oversaw public-private partnerships in Mayor Michael Bloomberg's administration. He's worked as a real estate private equity investor for Prudential and as a financial analyst at Goldman Sachs. Network Journal named him one of their 40 under 40 emerging business leaders. He earned his bachelor's in economics, holds his master's in economics and sociology from Oxford and MBA from Harvard. It's a great honor for me to have Tawan here and to be able to engage in conversation with him.
The ability to impact people's lives really comes from the ability to be legitimate in conversations about capital allocation, employment, and those kinds of things. So that has been, for me, the arc of my thinking. The underlying business model is that real estate is a long-term cash-flowing asset. So we don't flip, we don't raise short-term funds. We have a co-investment structure. We invite our investors to co-invest with us over 5, 7, and 10-year periods. And we do that by building specific businesses. So we don't just do deals, we build a full business around an idea. So I always had in the back of my mind this idea of what I call the latent asset theory. And that's frankly the basis of my company today. The latent asset theory is, in my mind anyway, is that the most impactful way to really bridge the gap of opportunity, and I do believe that it's a gap of opportunity that exists in the United States more than anything else, is to find latent assets.
You see how you look at him when he said that?
Resources to catalyze those latent assets. Just in the last 20 years, the rest of America has discovered Harlem. Right? The rest of America has discovered Brooklyn. The rest of America has discovered University City in West Philadelphia. It's discovered Dorchester.
So, again, it's about opportunity, nothing else but opportunity. And this black brother who's leading, opening the floodgates for a black college, is giving $100 million to the people to engage in the real estate in a way that decrease opportunity gap.
Trickle down economics. Ronald Reagan was right.
He died during our wedding.
I mean,
is that a good or a bad omen?
I take credit for it. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary this summer, so.
But Nixon
they want to have black businesses and not just go to the white businesses, and they should have.
And they should have.
Get them that milli mill. But yeah, any other thoughts on this brother and his? I hear a lot of people say his voice in there, like he seemed like he was a champion at Toastmasters, and he deals with white folks quite well, and he reassuring them by that's all. It's just opportunity, and we're trying to provide opportunity. Any other thoughts on?
I would like to say I think his leisure has been earned. Brother can put his feet up, take off them shiny shoes, and kick back.
We made it, boss.
Work has set him free. So it's good to see what all this is lead up to. Somebody that made it.
Now people at Virginia Union gonna make it. So I mean, I don't know who's next. Morgan, y'all gonna get your $100 million soon?
Well, we got 40 already from Mr. X Bezos, and then a lot more has been coming in from cybersecurity, military, defense, and STEM-related areas. And now we got the Spike Lee initiative in the School of Communication, matching black talent with white talent agents. And so yeah, everything is moving swimmingly. And speaking of making it, I just Piper just sent this to me. We got breaking news of our dear brother Diedrich Muhammad. I texted him. I don't know, and I said I don't know if I'll ever hear from him again after this. But Time Magazine recognizes NCRC's Diedrich Asante Muhammad among first annual closers list of leaders on inequality. So shout out to Diedrich for this recognition, including being recognized for the report recently done that he will be sitting on a panel with me next week, I believe, at the Hickory Ridge Village Board for a discussion of the segregation that still exists in our beloved hometown of Columbia, Maryland. But so shout out to Diedrich Muhammad being recognized for it's an interesting contradiction because he rejects the idea that you can close. He doesn't like even calling it a gap because you can't, it suggests it can be closed, but he is being considered a closer on the list of leaders on inequality from Time Magazine. So I don't know. I told him he might be too big time to actually answer my text or come back on the program, but we'll see. And we can even give him a little bit of make it official. There we go.
Like one of them respectable claps. Like
yes.
This is big time stuff. This ain't no color. There ain't no praise.
Right. Exactly. Keep shoulders in, elbows in.
Anytime Diedrich put out some shit, make sure you read his shit. Anytime Diedrich
just like this. That's how I be doing it too.
That's how you got to get Diedrich.
Consume it. Wash it over me.
That's the only way you're gonna have a proper analysis if you do that to Diedrich work. So shout out to Derek too. Always show love. But yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So all right. Are we
comments?
Oh, we got a whole bunch of them, right?
Yeah, we got we can get to them. So I didn't, well, I ain't never heard of this. All the chess players Elon knows are socialists. I know a bunch of capitalists and some black capitalist chess. I don't know that chess makes you more socialist. I don't know.
Really be impressed with themselves when they play chess. I don't understand.
I mean, I don't know how to play chess, so I ain't even gonna cap. So I mean, I don't know. I don't want it to sound like I'm hating and I don't know how to play. But
no, if you really want to understand and conquer life, you got to play RTS games.
What's that?
Real-time strategy, Age of Empire, Dawn of War. See what life. See.
No, my brother got a couple of dope games where he had to liberate spaces and shit.
Some profound endeavor. I don't want to just be like I'm wasting time and playing games. I just want it to be something bigger, something transformative. It's just a game, man. Enjoy yourself.
We got Killer Mike has never been popular in the mainstream or underground. Wait, or underground. I don't know about underground.
What the fuck is it? Where he at though?
Was he? I think he was popular underground though.
What other space exists?
I mean, I think he was popular in Atlanta, but I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know about that shit. I don't know.
I'm talking about these two umbrellas, mainstream and underground. What exists in between that or outside of mainstream or underground? Limbo? Huh?
I don't know.
I'm running these limbo streets. Like
I
what?
mean, Spades, Uno.
Where is Killer Mike? I would like to know, because everything I know falls into either or. So where else is there in the context?
And he's apparently working on music with Dead Prez, if I read the Instagram messages correctly. Which so I don't know. I don't know.
So again, I didn't know this. I didn't know. I'd never heard of that white boy until recently. Killer Mike's new what's the when he did the Crip Cola and Blood Soda on that show.
The only reason I know the only reason I know about him is because when I had been encouraged years ago to check them out, and because recently F the Signifier, if I'm not mistaken, and his whole thing about white rappers and Eminem said this guy is one of the ones that he counts as an actual MC who was white as opposed to I think this is the one he was talking. Yeah, I think he has a higher respect level for LP's career than Eminem's, but I don't know either. I can't speak. I wouldn't know. So
I like that song Patriotism.
Right.
That shit slaps, but I wouldn't go that far.
Also, shout out to the people who check in Hiram out. If you're rewatching this, make sure.
Yeah, I'm already in the chat. I'm already over there in the chat. I saved my spot in their chat.
Shout out to that.
I don't like that concept that millennials are killing capitalism. Capitalism is killing millennials. It's the other way. No, it's the other way. Capitalism is killing.
But their name is ironic though. So that's done on purpose. They would, I think, Jared and crew would agree with you on that. So they're not actually making they're being ironic when making that, when naming themselves that.
I'm just slow.
Isn't it ironic? Shout out to that 10, got 10 on it. We can go get a little baggie or something. Appreciate you, Charm City. Yep. Do y'all think we did a good job with making sure that we were not presented as hating on the sister, but also making sure that people are not believing that she's doing more than she really is, i.e. talking about liberated zones and stuff like that? Do you think?
Yeah,
I didn't see the chat. I don't know what happened in the chat. I don't feel like we were disrespectful at all. I thought quite the opposite. If anything, supportive.
Right. So Ricky also said because the land and space would have to be defended, and
right, that was my point. Right, that was the question I was raising earlier. So yeah, I agree.
And difference between empty spaces and usable space. Well, oh shit, we've already talked about Soul City multiple times in study groups and public platforms. Like, I mean, I think.
But thanks for the super chat.
Thanks for the super chat. But
there was a couple people. There was a couple I saw passingly raising questions about what we do and don't do without seeming to be aware of what we have done. So I feel like if they don't see
if you're not doing it in this moment, you never did it. We live in
now. There was a critique in there about we haven't covered the Pan-African Film Festival and we're only critical of Hollywood. And I think if you watch the show, you would understand why we would do that. But I do agree that we could also look into the Pan-African Film Festival. I'd rather folks maybe send some links and be more specific than just
and all we,
throw the. But I accept that. I hear that.
And you got it. And all we do when the screen goes off, we sit here until the screen comes back on.
We don't move.
Yeah. Right, but I mean to say a bit like
I'm just gonna remain here when the screen goes off.
To say a bit like Floyd McKissick and Soul City, I think it end tragic. And then even when you think about what we just played,
they want to have black businesses and not just go to the white businesses, and they should have.
So studying Floyd McKissick would help you conclude that that's not it. That ain't it. And right now, I think Soul City is a prison that houses most black people in that area in North Carolina. So that's not ironic either. But yeah, I would wonder, Smith, I would like to know what you think about Soul City, what you have studied, and how you conclude the moral and political lessons, political lessons of Soul City. But yeah, we've done that maybe a couple times.
Blacks. Why don't blacks study? I don't like that either.
Right.
But whatever.
No, black people don't own Henny.
But they do own, and that's
Uncle
why
Nearest?
the unofficial drink of I don't know about this platform, but certainly of me is
pour me a shot, bro.
And you see it's full. Like I've had this for a minute.
That's one shot. You just pour one shot so far?
No, I haven't. No, it's not been
Oh, it's
open
capped
yet.
up.
This is still capped. I've been on an unofficial little alcohol cleanse for a couple here or there for the last couple. I feel like for a minute there I was getting a little too regular with the little sips.
Didn't give us the time. He's sports, but I've been on
a little bit for a little bit
this morning.
No time or date, just a little bit of time.
Please.
7 o'clock this morning, I stopped drinking.
Diallo, I'm not on this Western European time calendar cycle, my brother. I'm on a whole other situation. So You know.
Oh no, so we don't own Hennessy. Yeah,
No.
no. Morning.
Thank you,
morning.
TWOFs.
Another $10. Oh yeah, I mean, talk about the gracious. We've been talking about in the chat a little bit. There's been a whole lot of love for EYL for people who are watching. I shout out to y'all. Diallo tell me he got some free shit, and
I'm going to get some free shit. I ain't
or
got
some
it.
more free shit. But I actually did get some free. Like I got
That's why I don't
some.
want to shout it out until I get it.
I got some love from some of my comrades in Atlanta who a husband and wife, they twist me up and gave me a lineup, and they told me they love the show and love y'all.
Wow.
I think it's all because
shout
of
out
Jared.
to them.
Yeah, and then rolling on in different streets, rather Atlanta or Baltimore, like people roll up on you like, yo, we love your show. I'm like, oh, so shout out to everybody who watching, who don't always be in the chat, but are still tuning in with your old heads and one young guy.
Well, yeah, I'm getting me a free or oat milk latte off the strength of our fame.
That's dope.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
But it's on the north side, so I not only do I get a free, I get to go up there in the nice neighborhood, and I'm gonna put my feet up like I belong. So
look at that guy.
You're gonna
tell him to show some love when we come too. We want some free lattes.
Man, no, that's mine.
Man, we do need to. We gotta start seriously talking about the first official live pop-up EYL episode.
I'm not playing with y'all. We already had it over and over. They ready for us in Baltimore right now. Wait for us.
I mean, obviously that's easy for me.
I mean, that's the first one. We're trying to make it easier for the oldest guy. Ain't you the oldest out of
Oh, damn. I think I am the oldest. I thought for a minute Diallo was my age, but he said something a couple weeks ago that suggests I think I am the oldest.
Well, Diallo texted me and said we gotta,
I'm between 49 and 51. So I don't fuck with 50.
Word. That's what oh man, I should have stole. I'm stealing that. I'm retroactively. Have you really?
Yeah, I've
you
been
over
in
20?
marital bliss. We've been together since 2000.
Oh wow! Congratulations. Yeah, right on.
99 in the 2000. Juvenile brought y'all in.
2000. It was 99. I'm like, I gotta find me a woman because if I get somebody in 2020, 2000, I'll never have to be like when people be like, how long y'all be together? So I could just, I just 23 years, 24
it's
years.
easy, yeah. I gotta do more. I gotta subtract 4. Then we got married on the 5th, and we got married on the 5th.
Cats that got together right in 2006.
On the 4th, yeah, I gotta do all of the math. It's a mess. It's a mess.
So I don't have to do no math.
So again,
I'm smart.
Even though Jared and Diallo,
I thought Y2K was real, so I needed, I had all my rations, but I needed.
Jared and Diallo, could y'all give a disclaimer?
I had my rations, but I didn't have a woman.
I think when y'all use the word hate,
stuff, so
I think when y'all use the word hate or hating, people really believe like that's literally what you're doing. But could you give some disclaimers about the idea of critiquing and all these other things? Is talking about something and talking about a shortcoming, things that you like, is not necessarily hating, but I think
honestly, I don't even know. I'm not sure what the comment, if we're getting this in context or what the context is.
Yeah, it's in context to the sister in Detroit who's doing the
again.
village.
I honestly, I don't even remember any. I don't remember anything even akin to hate or even criticism, much less. So I'm not sure what I'm just not sure.
Talking to somebody else. She wasn't
in the chat.
No,
yeah,
this is in line with the sister who do the
right. But
village.
is Ricky talking to someone else in the chat or talking about what we're saying?
Oh no, she's talking to someone in the chat. She's talking to someone.
Oh well, I mean,
I'm also talking about even people in the chat.
That's what I thought. I know she wasn't talking to me.
This guy, this guy is wild.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's directed at us. I'm saying that the conversation in the chat is normally when you're critiquing things or you having an analysis, people are thinking, "Oh, y'all shitting on the lady."
Yeah, I get it. No,
kind of like
nobody.
What Ashley is saying. So, I just go ahead.
I think we were fully supportive and just recognizing the shortcomings of or the struggles that she's going to encounter, which we already covered some of. I mean, it's already happening. And people who don't even live in the neighborhood owning that other property, by the way, having a lot to say about what happens in that neighborhood. So, I mean, that's sort of the point. But yeah.
Yeah. But
our goal should not be to dismiss her misguided attempt. Yeah, nobody. Yeah. I think that's. I thought we passionate rebellion. I think we're on the same page. Yeah.
But to work in, solidarity. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's.
So again, in terms of sovereignty, Diallo, I know you mentioned some stuff about when we talked about Olutunji, and I guess Chris asked, "Do y'all believe in African sovereignty?" And I think again, when Jared talked about the crisis of methodology, I wonder if people are hearing that. We're not saying that no, Africans shouldn't be sovereign, and what sovereign looks like. The sovereign mean that you will be in partnership with other people.
Yeah, I tend to lean towards anarchy. You know, I don't really in my ideal world. In my ideal world, I don't really think that there should be any type of. I believe in autonomy more so than sovereignty, because sovereignty gets, the sovereign is, you can have sovereignty under a monarchical system. You can have sovereignty under a dictatorship or an authoritarian government. So I guess sovereignty in the context of, as opposed to colonial relationships and foreign interests manipulating the state. But then again, sovereignty unto itself can be a very bad things for the people who live under the sovereign. So it's how you use it. I like concepts more so of autonomy and things of that nature, but in interdependence.
So you want a stateless place, anarchist stateless place.
Ultimately, if I'm able to choose, if you're gonna give me and let me pick my own piece of candy out the box, yeah, I'm gonna pick that anarcho piece. But then I come back down to earth. But I think we should be talking about autonomy, interdependence, collectivism, sovereignty. I understand it, the context in which people say it. Yes, I think Africans should be sovereign in terms of being people who've been hounded and pounded by colonialism and invasions and coups d'etats and foreign influence. I believe in it in that concept, but it kind of goes too far where we talk about sovereignty, where we get to the point where if it's black, then I support it. And we got all these demagogues and other and cults that because they're black, we support it because it's black and they fighting or they're sovereign against them. So it's kind of a sticky topic, but ultimately, no, I wouldn't be for African sovereignty.
So, but this is
no. I was going to ask, like, in terms of sovereignty, I wonder if the definitions are the same for people. So, if it's a self-determining state to be able to determine for themselves, does that also mean, or does that not mean? And me and Bob are supposed to have me and Bob Emotep supposed to have a conversation later on today. But does that mean you shouldn't have relationship with other people, or you don't need relationships with other people?
Is that conversation going to be taped? Are we going to see it, or is this a personal thing?
No, just a personal conversation.
Well, I mean, because
he's invited to come here too, but
let him come on. Yeah, have him come. Because my thing is, and this is what I just saw her pop up in the chat. What I appreciate and want to hear more from in the conversation from Coco and others is, what does nationalism and what does sovereignty mean, and what does it look like, and how? Because that was again.
I think Coco going back, and Erica did a good job on. They had a conversation on her show, but yeah.
Right. I'm not. No. I'm not saying. I'm saying in general, over time, the focus on that is an issue. There have been many sort of one-offs or individual or good discussions of sovereignty or nationalism. I'm saying the ongoing focus on it is what I've appreciated, because I don't think everybody's on the same page with what these terms mean. And then I definitely don't think we're on the same page as how we're going to get there and then how it's going to be maintained. So, and I don't even know what it looks like if we haven't, if the West is still here. so like I don't like,
I mean, listen, would anybody argue that?
Real quick, I think I told y'all before, real quick, Diallo. I think I told y'all before, like, again, in Detroit, and I guess the food sovereignty network is around the US. Again, when I was thinking about contracting with them and doing some work, the question I asked, I was like, okay, you as a black food network, you're going to be sovereign here in the US when the US is actually responsible for trying to destabilize food sovereign nations or nations who will be able to feed themselves. Like, how do you think that that's going to happen? And the answers was just spinning around, but I think the answers made them look at me like, nah, we ain't fucking with him. And it's just like a genuine question. Like, these people are literally responsible for doing that. But go ahead.
Yeah, just here's the thing about sovereignty and the limits of sovereignty. Look at a nation you would define as being sovereign, and look at the day-to-day citizens, the rank and file citizens, the masses within that state, and how that nation's sovereignty, being a citizen of a sovereign nation, how does it impact the day-to-day citizen? That's all I would say for when we talk about sovereignty. But again, I understand that when it's just like when we say black power is not the same as white power, and black sovereignty or African sovereignty is not the same as white sovereignty. But we do understand as a goal or as a principle, it does have limitations.
Right. All right. We got Mop and Doozy. Why do y'all spend so much time on state propaganda apparatus films and not even? Oh, this is the one you already put out, right?
That's what I was responding to, and I agree with the broadly with we can always focus more on Pan-African films and film festivals and whatnot. But as far as the first part of the question, I think we've answered that. That I think to not spend time on state propaganda and to not even try to define Hollywood and its products as counterinsurgent state propaganda is a mistake. So the question just for me then becomes, how do we add more of a focus to Pan-African films and film festivals? And with all, so it's just a matter of capacity and focus. So, but I'd prefer if these questions, just admittedly, I'd prefer if these questions be, it just feels so negative and condemnatory as opposed to helpful, but maybe I'm just being defensive. Okay. Diallo, love him some Warhammer. May all be well and peace to Mac Hiram too. Right on. Thank you for the super chat.
I don't love them Warhammers.
You don't love them hoes.
I know it is a metaphor for life. You know what I'm saying? I say Warhammer in order to
this guy.
But yeah. Can I have an outlet? Can I have a pastime? Y'all got ball chasing and card playing and liquor.
Go ahead, do your thing, brother.
Can you have an outlet and a pastime?
Express your blackness, brother.
Specific to what we do on this particular program, I would encourage Cam Doogie, thanks for the super chat, to look at Earl Ofari's re-release of The Myth of Black Capitalism. There's always Fraser's Black Bourgeoisie. There's Nkrumah's Last Stage of neocolonialism rather. There's obviously all of the Marxist literature. There's, I think, I would encourage Blood in My Eye from George Jackson. I would encourage a bunch of stuff, including the new stuff I haven't even gotten to from Rodney. There's a lot.
Not the CBS new joint, Black Scare Red Scare, I think will be great too.
And I haven't even gotten to that. So there you go. Yep. All of that. So yeah, there's a lot. There's almost too much at this point. And now it just slipped my mind. But yeah, those are all good places to start.
Diallo, you were saying something?
Oh, and I said it. Should have been listening. You missed out. I dropped a gem.
What kind of gem was it?
Cubic
zirconium?
Watch the replay.
Cubic zirconium gem. All right, shout out to
Raj.
Appreciate that.
Raj either does very well or spends a significant amount of his budget on BPM. So but thank you very much, Raj.
Dropping them ducats. Yeah, that's it. We all starred up, shorty.
All right. Well, I'm already in the chat for Matt Capitalism, so I'm gonna jump over there. Anything else you want to announce? Come back tomorrow for Saturdays with Renee, please, everybody, and ring the bell. Make sure you don't miss everything that's been put up on the channel already. A lot of other stuff coming, but fellas, anything else?
Nah, man, my book is slow as shit to come in. I ordered the actual book for Joy James, contextualizing Angie Davis, but she also is going to send me another book, her other book that she got coming out. So
she got a lot coming out. I started the Angela Davis
New
book.
Bones.
So we got to get to that and invite Dr. James here to talk about all of that at some point.
Yeah.
So Diallo, anything you want to let us know about?
I'm actually be in LA or during the Pan-African Film Festival in Los Angeles. I wasn't able to make it to any of the screenings, so everything I tried to go to was at capacity or beyond capacity, but I did make it to some of the closing events, the spoken word session and some of the panels. Really wonderful. So
all right, well, there you go.
Hey,
but I won't be traveling on Friday, so I'll be right here.
Okay,
I
good.
won't be missing a beat because I'm committed to this, unlike Jared. He tries to schedule everything he does in the world on Friday morning.
Everything from dentist appointments
I
to
feel
office
like
hours.
I feel like Jared trying to get rid of us, man.
I'll be trying.
What you think, Diallo? I think Jared trying. I think Jared's seeing other people.
Huh?
I think he's seeing other people. What you think?
Yeah, I told you he's up every Friday. He's creeping.
Most things don't open until 10 o'clock. Otherwise, I'd be gone early. If things would open earlier, I'd be booking more stuff. You're right. I'd be trying to get out of it as much as possible. But
Jared, since Davon was on last week, my brother just texted me and said, "What's happening in Search of Black Power?"
What happened? What happened?
I said, since Davon was on last week, my brother just texted me, "What happened to In Search of Black Power podcast?" or something like that.
I don't know. I think there's a misunderstanding of how things work around here, and I think there's definitely a misunderstanding about my leadership capacity. So
you run things. Things no run. You run things.
Yeah, man.
That's a lie.
Everything's Irie under the ball guy.
CEO. He's the primary investor. CEO. He should be sitting up there with shiny shoes like that other guy we was looking at from Steinberg. He's the shiny shoes CEO.
See,
Black Power. And now he's going to try to diminish his role.
I should have ended the show when Diallo said I was right. I knew it. I should have ended it then. Now we've gone too far. See, So all right, I'm gonna go get in the other chat. I'll catch y'all later, man. See,
everybody already left, and they complaining we leaving.
They already left. So now
we trying to leave early. They left early, and now they complaining.
They already left. Ain't nothing to do.
That's messed up, man.
We can't afford Diallo past 10:30 anyway. So peace, everybody.
You know what I mean?
Catch you
Look at
next
that. I need one of those "Where's My Money" shirts from Roland.
You got to earn your liberation.